Welcome to CFO Chronicles, the secrets behind success. The go-to podcast for fractional CFOs and accounting firm owners who want to attract more high-paying clients and increase their revenue. Hosted by James Donovan from 92 Media. This podcast dives into marketing strategies specifically designed for lead generation and client acquisition. In each episode, you'll hear from industry leaders sharing their success stories and expert tactics to help you sign more lucrative clients and grow your business. Tune in and discover actionable insights to transform your marketing efforts and boost your bottom line.
Today we're joined by Stoy Hall. Stoy, super excited to be diving in, hearing a little bit more about your story, what's helped your business grow. I know you got a podcast as well that we can speak about, but Black Mammoth, Stoy Hall, tell us a little bit about yourself and the clients you serve.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just a born and raised Midwestern in America here, and sports was my avenue. Food is my love, and I really learned early on that I cared a lot about people, and money really wasn't a thing, right? Because I came from a background that didn't really have a lot of money. My mom didn't. My dad was never around, and so like money to me wasn't the factor. It was like being around awesome people. Whether that was other families help raising me, getting me to sports, whether that was my mother bending over backwards to get me to where I'm at. I learned really early on that your network or your team and your family is what can transpire you. And so that's kind of what drove me to my career, right? Fast track. I played football at Drake University, graduated from there, went head first into this financial game as an insurance salesman, worked my way up to the management side of things. And then in 2017, when I had our second kid, I was like, it's time for a transition. I want to be able to holistically help people, not just through insurance. It's important, but everything else matters just as much. And so I joined a firm out of Houston at that point, but launched Black Mammoth September, I think the legal documents say, of 2020. As a modern family office, working with women and minority business owners, the ones that some of them are startups, but as you know, it's like that next step, right? I'm profitable, but I need help to get me to this next growth. And that's where we step in and really just own everything for them so they can focus on their little bit of things. And like you said, I do have a podcast, No BS Wealth. We bring no bullshit to the money talk, to the money game. And it's really fun. It's all encompassing, right? Everything I do is integrated so that way it's the same message over and over again. And hopefully we can change the industry a little bit.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Um, I also started my business right before the pandemic in 2020. I'm curious, how did that go for you? I mean, we're here now talking, so obviously well enough, but like starting a business is hard. Starting it during a pandemic, I would say maybe one of the harder things to do. So I'd love to hear a little bit about that and how you kind of persevered through it.
Yeah, I say this a lot too, is for me, I was just moving my clients from one entity to another. So it wasn't like a brand new startup, like someone launching a business. I had a core clientele, which was nice. It actually, because of the pandemic, made the transition and growth of our business easier. And I will always give credit to the pandemic and COVID for helping our industry because we were all the like, it's who you know around the block, right? Not being able to do this virtual stuff.
Yeah.
And the financial industry needed a shakeup badly because we need to be able to reach out to whomever fits us, right? Growing up in this industry, it was always like whoever breathes, whoever lives around you, those should be your clients. And I never really fit in with that because they're not like my people. Like I don't want to hang out with these people all the time. And as business owners, if you're having a service-based clientele, you want that relationship. Well, guess what? There are people all over this country or all over the world that will relate to you but have never met you. And so the COVID and pandemic allowed us to go virtual, and now everyone does it and almost regularly meet in person, which is there's drawbacks to it, but that's what I say about it. It was actually a blessing in disguise.
Awesome. What's your take when if you come across prospects who for whatever reason they still feel like, no, I want to work with someone local. Like they feel like I don't know, the best person for whatever reason is in their local market, which is so crazy. because we get that a lot with some of the outreach we do for our clients. But now even hiring new team members, like it's a massive blessing that you don't have to be restricted to who's available in your local market, whether that's talent you're hiring or service that you're looking to hire, like your services or whatever that is. So like what's your take and how do I guess you address prospects when they say that? Like, hey, you're not local to us.
I tell them to grow up. No, I'm kidding. What we try to do within our brands that we have is we have a network of people. We meet a lot of people. Obviously, as a host, you meet a lot of people. But in terms of what we do as a family office, I'm always vetting out other professionals in whatever roles there are all over the country. And so when someone says that, I one try to sell them the fact that it doesn't matter anymore. But two, then if that's the case, I'm going to help them find someone who's relatively local that I have vetted out that I trust that's part of my network, and go ahead and make that conversation and be like, hey, they're local, they're going to do everything that you want them to do, here, because I believe that there is no competition in our industry. The competition is for those that are not educated and do not have a planner, advisor, a CFO, whatever this service is. And we all need to come together. And when we're meeting people and they don't fit us, we should be able to have, a handful of people that we can go to and say, hey, they fit you perfectly. Let's get them onboarded.
That's great. What gets you out of bed and excited about what you do on a daily basis? I know you may have alluded to it a little bit at the start, but like what's that driving force that really gets you excited about what you do, Monday to Friday or even 7 days a week?
I mean, we're business owners. It's 7 days a week, 24/7.
Yeah,
There's no time off. I don't care what anyone says. Besides my kids getting up well before we do for some reason, even though we get up at 5, it truly is being able to help more people find their ability to grow their wealth. I say it all the time, and today on Threads, someone yelled at me for it, but there's not one wealthy person or successful person on this earth that has done it alone. You have to have a team. Whatever that team makeup will be different for everyone, but you need to have a team and you need to have someone who can kind of oversee and quarterback most of it. And so that's what majority of all our content's about, is getting people to realize that one, they're not alone in this world, whatever they're doing, specifically business owners, but also they're not alone and there's people out here that are resources for them that think like they do, will push them and drive them to that next great stage that they want in their life.
let's build on team a bit. With the world being a lot more virtual now, like you mentioned, it's almost rare to have in-person meetings with prospects or maybe even team members. What's the makeup of your team look like? Or do you have a lot of people in your local market? Do you rely on a lot of team members who work remotely? I would love to hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, my wife joined the firm in December, so me and her are here locally. We do have a couple of our accounting staff that are local, but we meet virtually anyway, even though we're 20 minutes away. Outside of that, majority of our contractors throughout the nation. So I would say of all of our meetings, 99% of them are virtual. And then I have some local clients that will go grab lunch or let the kids run around, which isn't like a meeting, but is more local feel. Otherwise, it's like 99% plus that are all virtual. Even if they are local, we're still doing virtual meetings.
Yeah, just more efficient to jump on Zoom and you're not dealing with traffic and driving around. How do you go about building team culture or client relationships that are all virtual? I mean, especially with team, and you mentioned, yeah, you can meet with a couple clients in person, but most of the work, it sounds like, it's all virtual. A lot of people are building their firms now following that same path. So, like, what's been working really well for you, I guess, building culture or even retention wise in a virtual world?
Slack. We use Slack all the time. And anyone I hire part of my partnership or whatever around me, I let them know that like this isn't a job and work. Like this is our life. Like it's just lifestyle. And so message me all the time. And so we have a very open dialogue, both with our clients, and any of our support staff or anyone who's involved with our businesses, of just like 24/7, we can just chat back and forth and be there for each other above and beyond just business conversations, right? hey, what's going on? How's it going? How can we support you? Those types of things. And I think that ability to always have that dialogue whenever things are happening, really allows you to be a lot closer to those people. And then they truly start to feel like family, because it's that deep of a relationship, right? I have clients and I have other staff that we talk more, probably 80% of the time, about what our kids are doing, what's going on. I just had a client that's mother died a month ago. So we've had those conversations, but those are going on all the time. It's not like a designed, oh, we meet once a month or once a quarter or whatever. Then we can download it. We are literally having open dialogue 24/7 if need be.
You're just being human.
Just being human.
Yeah.
We're real people.
That's the secret sauce is just being a human and having a conversation with someone. That's cool. Tell me a little bit about how Black Mammoth, the success behind your growth. Like, how do you guys find clients? What's been working really well for you as a firm?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's going to say referrals or whatever. I mean, you're going to have that. But outside of that, right, you should take care of your clients and they love you and, people come on. It's truly, I asked this question to my marketing team yesterday. I was like, where's our best like route? Like, can you figure it out? And there truly isn't one because we do everything everywhere and we're so loud. What I would say is it's because we're building a brand and we do have the podcast. We are on all social medias. We do blog posts. We do podcast interviews. We are everywhere. That I think that whole overall brand then allows someone to relate in relationship and then wherever platform they're on at that point, then it goes through there. But I truly believe it is because we are providing so much content everywhere and letting everyone know that we are here for you where you're at, that it allows them to get comfortable. And that's kind of what drives them the most. So obviously referrals and word of mouth is going to be king, but it's that brand behind it when someone's, searches Stoy or Black Mammoth or whatever, that they're going to see it and they're going to know who we are pretty damn quick.
That's awesome. It's the omnipresence. Just be everywhere and people will see you. What would you say to maybe other firm owners who aren't as comfortable in front of the camera or getting hung up on the idea of creating content and thinking like, oh, I'm an accountant, like content's not for me. That's for influencers and people who are dancing on TikTok.
Yeah, you got to do it. If you're in a relationship business, let me back up. If you're in the relationship business, you just got to suck it up and do it because it's the same conversation I have with my clients across the desk or virtually. Whatever you're doing now, you're just doing it in front of a camera that's recorded. So first step, maybe do a podcast, maybe do a guest podcast spot, right? And just try it. And then from that, and as you know, as a host, like now we have all the ability to cut this thing up to 100 different ways and post it wherever. But you got to do it. If you're a relationship business, people need to hear you because they care about you. They don't care about the name of anything that you do or what you own. It's you. And so if they're not hearing from you, it's going to be harder for them to find you. And then on the flip side of it, you're right. Sometimes you're like, damn, I create content. I feel like an influencer. You're not. You're not because what you're doing is you're providing your voice with the facts and advice that you want to teach others. And I promise you, even if you're not seeing the likes or the engagement, people are watching and listening and you're changing their life without knowing. And it's out there and I guarantee it is. So if you care about others and you really want to be a human, you just got to do it, right? Just Nike, just do it.
That's great. I was at a recent conference with a bunch of digital marketers, and very similar message was coming up, and it was about either being a follower or a creator, and that kind of mindset shift of maybe feeling like an imposter creating content, and well, someone else has already done this, so like, why are they going to listen to me? I forget the exact numbers. I could find it in a book, but I won't waste your time. But it was wild. Like I want to say over 90 like 99% of people don't even post on social media. And maybe like 98, 1 and 1. I forget. And if if my mentor is listening, he's probably going to call me out on this. But it is that idea of just create something because it's likely it hasn't been created before, and the amount of people that are on social media, they're just there lurking in the background. And to your point, that piece of people have probably seen it. It's true. I've been on a couple sales calls or different demos, and people are like, I've seen your stuff everywhere. I can't believe I'm actually going to be speaking to you or whatever it is. So and I don't feel like I'm putting out insane value all the time, but it's just getting out there and doing it, and it is uncomfortable. So it's refreshing to meet you and how much you are putting out. And I checked out your site before jumping on, and like even some cool videos there of how you guys are getting people to walk through your funnel. Like it's neat to see.
Yeah, and it's different, but everyone realize it's also difficult because people aren't used to it either,
Yeah.
right? So like not only are we as professionals, it's uncomfortable or started off uncomfortable and now you're good with it, but also the people that you're delivering the message to are also learning a new style as well, right? Specifically in the service industry. I can't speak to the products as much, but in the service industry, having someone out there always and talking to you like that is a different way of doing it than the old days of like, oh, it's just because they're around the block, right? Or because my friend knows this person. Well, now since a lot of those people are nationwide, they're learning you from a different platform. And if you miss them, you miss them, right? And so it's not only uncomfortable for us, it's kind of uncomfortable in a new learning style for them that we're kind of, integrating and great things happen when that happens.
Let's talk a little bit about AI. How are you? I get the feeling that you probably use some AI in the business.
Yep.
Um, what's been maybe like what stands out to you, or how are some ways that you guys are able to implement AI to either help grow your business, optimize your own lifestyle, or help out your clients?
Yeah. Marketing team, outside of all the video stuff, I don't know what they do because they do it, but I assume they use some AI. How we use it in the business is I'm a talker. I don't know if everyone noticed that yet, but I love to talk. It's easy for me to do this. It's easy for me to articulate this way. I am an awful writer. Both my penmanship and just the overall writing ability is not there. And so I love AI because I'll be able to record something like this in my voice and the way I want to speak. And then I'm able to feed it exactly that and it spit out exactly how I want to say it in a more, I don't want to say professional manner, but not my handwriting, not the way I speak to that degree. And so that's how I use it to enhance not only efficiency, because writing takes a long time, but to be able to pull it and organize my thoughts together without me having to go pen to paper and try to figure it out. Which then allows us obviously to create more content faster, our blogs, not necessarily our emails, but some of the content you see that's on the website. It just allows it to learn my voice and speak it out there. But it's not like I'm using it to go research for me and then speak for me. Like I'll do the research, I'll speak to it, and then let it take my words into whatever platform or whatever I need it for.
Yeah, that's great. And it's so cool because it retains everything. So it's not like, oh, I had a really great idea this day, and the next day you're just not feeling it. Like you just ask it, hey, pull from all the memory. It already has all of it. We've been playing around with, well, just the idea of kind of trying to dump everything out of team members into AI so it's saved, and it's like there's no need to retrain after. You can just pull from all of the great resources that you've dumped into it over time and time again. So if people aren't using AI, I think they're going to get left behind. It's not I don't even think it's opinion anymore. I think it's just fact. If you're not using AI, you're going to be left behind.
Yeah, and truly get over yourself with the fact that like you're not writing it.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing it. Writers are doing it. Ghostwriter, they're using the same thing. Just do it, but don't let it feed the fake stuff, right? Feed it you, still be genuine, and feed the information you want it to, but it just makes it more efficient. That way you can get more stuff out to people quicker. And that's really what we want to do as creators, right? We want to be able to provide more content quicker to you. And less, a lot less or a lot more efficient for us because I remember 5, 6 years ago when we started our podcast, it would take like 10 hours an episode to get everything cut up, get it posted, and all of that stuff. And now with specifically AI, we cut that down to like an hour and a half, 2 hours, which means we can do more. And that's really what we want to do.
What's one of your like top AI programs or software like in the tech stack that you guys are using?
So it's funny. I test them all the time, obviously. But currently, I have ChatGPT and Claude, and I use them for different purposes.
Okay.
I'll use ChatGPT to back up some research, find me some resources, but Claude to speak more. And we joke about this, the marketing team jokes about this a lot, is we truly believe Claude is a black dude. Like, we really do think he's a black, because some of the things he puts out there, I'm like, that's how I would like. You just said what I would say. You're on to something. But we use those two a lot. And then obviously there's some internal stuff from a other perspective that most people don't have because they don't have the financial stuff. But those two we use to compete against each other on some certain items.
Interesting. That's cool. What's one piece of advice you'd give to other business owners or entrepreneurs, maybe in general? I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to answer the question itself. So just like one piece of advice for entrepreneurs.
Yeah. For business owners, you need a team. Okay, I said it earlier. You got to have a team, and you got to understand that that team is there to support you. Do not think you can wear all these hats alone. I know it might cost money, but in order for you to grow, both personal development wise and business development wise, you've got to delegate and have a team be able to support whatever movement that is. That doesn't mean they have to be internal. That means they can be external. It could be your buddy down the street that gets beers every Monday afternoon. You just have to have the team and have them in the positions. Otherwise, you're going to burn out and your business won't be successful.
That's so good. What's last question for you, Stoy? What's next for Black Mammoth?
Ooh, that's a good one. Really, we're just going to continue on what we're doing. I think we're going to hit our metrics that we want already, probably by July. And so now I've been tasked with a couple of friends, I guess, from colleagues from the industry that they're like, can you replicate this, right? Whether it's a franchise model or whatever. And so I've been tasked with trying to build that and see how easy it is to make it a model. So I would assume that's probably next, because we speak a lot about the modern family office. I believe our industry is shifting a lot to that. And so, but it's the ultimate thing is like, how do you do it? Like, what is the right way to do it? Because most advisors charge AUM. We don't. I'm trying to go strictly away from that. Thanks, regulatory body. There's still some issues there, but we're really working towards that because I truly believe every person should have a family office and should have a team of people looking out for them in their best interest. And the way we're doing it is working so far, and working pretty well. So it's just a matter of, okay, can we replicate that to others, and provide that for them?
That's so good. Stoy, thank you so much for coming on and sharing all of your insight in this conversation. It's been great. How can people continue the conversation with you if they want to pick this up?
Absolutely. Just Google Stoy Hall, Black Mammoth, and OBS Wealth. You'll literally find us on every platform except for Reddit because I got kicked off. Long story short there. Seriously, reach out. I ask this every time I'm a guest and even on my own podcast. We want you to comment and like, share, and all of that stuff. Yeah, it's cool for the algorithm. That's not really why we do it. But in order to learn more about you and provide better content for you, we have to know what's going on. And so just reach out, whether it's DMing us, commenting, whatever it is. We're here to answer your questions to the best of our ability. But if you don't, then we can't answer it. So make sure you reach out.
Continue the conversation with Stoy, everyone. Again, thank you so much for coming on. This was great.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for listening to CFO Chronicles, the secrets behind success. We hope today's episode provided valuable strategies to help you attract more high-paying clients. Be sure to subscribe, follow, and share with fellow professionals. Connect with us on LinkedIn and leave a review or comment to join the conversation. Your feedback helps us bring you the best insights in finance and marketing. Until next time, keep striving for success and unlocking your business's potential.